Once again, everyone, please silence your cell phones before we get started. Good evening. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Colonel Thomas Tate. I'm the Commandant Cadets and place in the Dina Students Institute, and most of you know similarities by now. I'd like to take just a couple of minutes to introduce our presenter tonight. It's my pleasure to introduce our President Superintendent, Major General Jerry Grizzle, PhD, United States Army. Major General Grizzle is New Mexico Military Institute's 19th President / Superintendent and assumed duties on 1 July 2009. This marks the beginning of his 14th year as the senior leader of the Institute. General Grizzle graduated from Southwestern Oklahoma State University with a Bachelor's of Science in Accounting. He received his MBA from Central State University and his PhD from Oklahoma State University. Previously, General Grizzle was the President and CEO of Florida Minor Foods, CD Warehouse, and most recently AMS Health Sciences, in which he was fully responsible for all aspects of business development in a highly competitive marketplace. Prior to his tenure with CD Warehouse, he was Vice President and Treasurer of Sonic Industries and Sonic restaurant chain that you see up and down Main Street. General Grizzle's military career began in 1971. He was commissioned as an infantry officer upon completion of Federal Officer Candidate School in 1972. Prior to this assignment, General Grizzle served as commander of the 90th Troop Command, Oklahoma Army National Guard, commander of the 45th Infantry Brigade, Oklahoma Army National Guard, and Deputy State Area Commander of the Oklahoma National Guard. While Deputy Commander of the 45th Infantry Brigade, he participated in the security effort following the April 1995 bombing of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. Most recently, he served as Vice Director for Joint Training at U.S. Joint Forces Command in Norfolk, Virginia, while additionally serving as Vice Commander of the Joint Warfighting Center in Suffolk, Virginia. So for those of you who may not be familiar with the military, he's at times had thousands of soldiers and in the Joint Command, sailors, Marines, airmen, etc., under his command and his responsibility. Immediately after the attacks of September 11, 2001, Major General Grizzle entered active federal service and took command of the Department of Defense Joint Task Force Civil Support, the only unit in the Department of Defense responsible for the planning and execution for the response to any possible weapons of mass destruction attack within the United States. General Grizzle and his wife Sean, a former high school biology teacher, have 2 children and 2 grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, please provide a warm welcome for our President and Superintendent, Major General Jerry Grizzle. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome. We appreciate you spending some time with us this evening. We hope that what we convey to you this evening is meaningful. We're not going to try to resell you. We've done that. We're here in the audience this evening. But we do have some things we think that we can share with you that will make tomorrow better, and we hope that it'll make your time here at NMMI and your cadets' time here meaningful, and that you will understand what they're going to go through while they're here. So if you'll allow me to go through a few things just quickly, we'll get to the point of the evening. Tom did a more than adequate job of introducing me. I appreciate that. I had a great friend of mine one time that I was in the audience as they did an introduction like that of him, and he said, I wish they'd given me the courtesy of dying first before they read my eulogy. But I appreciate that very much. Let me go over just quickly our mission statement. I know you can't read that from back there, but let me quickly tell you or remind you that we run the school on 3 principles: education, leadership, and athletics, or the physical fitness aspect of the school. We think the 3 are inseparable, that you can't take them apart. You must have all 3. So this Venn diagram does that. The top part of it is academics, the one side of it is leadership, and the right side, the green side, is athletics. They overlap, and where they overlap here at NMMI is actually a physical location. You'll see that tomorrow as you go through matriculation. The Godfrey Athletic Center is truly a world-class fitness center where our athletics overlap. Our Toll's Leadership Center, or Toll's Learning Center, when you see that, it's more than just a library. It's where you can go for help with tutors and labs and writing labs and math labs when you need help. And then in the Daniel's Leadership Center, it's where leadership is taught in theory, and then you take it outside where we have the ropes course, leadership reaction course, repelling powers. So those three things overlap. Not only do they overlap in theory, they overlap in that physical location you'll see, and then they all come together in that yellow triangle in the middle for the Corps of Cadets. I'd like to introduce our leadership team of the school, but before I do that, we have some special guests. Every year we're honored that they come and give you a quick introduction to Roswell. The first is our mayor. Our mayor is a very special guy because he's an alumnus of the Mexico Military Institute. And I'd like to introduce Tim Jennings. Tim will come up and welcome you to Roswell and also tell you about his time as a cadet here at New Mexico Military Institute. Mayor?
Never in my wildest dreams did I ever believe that I could be doing this. And I'm almost humbled by the fact that I came to this school and I didn't really realize what really happened to me until after I left. But first of all, I have a duty here, and that my official duty as mayor of Roswell is to welcome you. And I want you to know that this institution is cherished in Roswell because of its academic abilities and the opportunities that it gives children that come to this school. You don't have many children leave this school. You have adults leave this school. When you leave this New Mexico Military Institute, you drop off your child. But who leaves this place is an adult. Because no longer are they going to be sitting there saying, maybe, letting the parents take all the blame for any of their misfortunes. And you know, the people in Roswell have grown to know and cherish the fact of the opportunities that were here. And just so all of you know, 654327. That sound good? That was my cadet number. It was in all my underwear. It was on every piece of clothes I had. 654327. A little metal card that whenever we bought anything, or you had a little metal card, you put it through the machine, and they pulled the hammer down, and it printed out your card number, and you would bill for that no matter what. And that's the way it was. And you know, it's kind of different because while your kids are here, please feel free at any time if you have any problems or need anything. Always go through the commandant because that's the way things go here. But if you have anything else and you need something, please don't hesitate to call me. Because I've lived by this school for a number of years. I've seen streakers go by one way and streakers go by the other way, just like I saw them in the quadrant. Now that doesn't happen much anymore, but that has happened in the past. But you know, we've all grown up in our community to love this school for what it is. I want to just say a little bit about my experiences here. I had an older brother that was accepted in Notre Dame, and my dad, when he got into Notre Dame, my dad graduated from Notre Dame, and he was so happy that he got one of his sons in there. And My brother called home all the time. And he kept telling my mother how much he missed being home. He wanted to come home. And my dad, and he wanted cookies. It didn't matter how many cookies my mother sent, he still called. And my dad said that would never happen again. So he sent the next 3 boys to the Mexico Military Institute. And that's exactly what happened. And you know, there was some trials in that. I have a brother that is 2 years older than I am, and then I had, and he graduated in the class of 66. I graduated in the class of 68 with my twin brother. And you know one thing about twins. There's always a leader, and then there's a guy behind him pushing him out. And I was always that guy. And so my brother, we did a lot of things. My brother, his initials were TE, mine were TC, James. And so a lot of things happened at this school. Goddard High School one time told us that we couldn't burn the bonfire. Nobody could burn the bonfire just across that field over there by the Wool Bowl. And we went over there and they had their cars parked around this big bonfire. And they had, just like a clock, they had cars pointed out every direction so they could shine the lights. Well, little did they know about boys that had or young men really, that had military signs. We sent one group around the other side with about 10 people, around all the way around the Wool Bowl. They came up there on the side. And that's before they had all those baseball fields. It was over there. And then the other group of about 35 of us went across and went over here and snuck across and across the street. Went over there and over there on the road right over there just after the training field that they had there for the Institute, their obstacle course. We went over there and started screaming and hollering and everything, and they all turned on their lights late at night, 1 o'clock, 2. They turned on their lights and they all ran out and they started throwing rocks at us. Well, we yelled out. And then those guys that went around the other way, they snuck out from underneath those cars and put bottles of gasoline with a little rag in it, lit them, and they threw them in that bonfire, and the race was on. We were all coming back to the Institute. And that's the bridge right out here. We ran right over the top of that bridge, and it was under construction. The Goddard kids were down there on the bottom with 2x4s, and they were ready. They were gonna kick our fannies, and we ran right over the top into the safety of our dorms. And lo and behold, my twin brother, you know, he was always smart. We don't want to lead the way because he was back before me, and Colonel Vaughn saw him coming across there, and he thought it was me. I don't know why. I mean, I'm cute. My brothers were twins. We're not identical. And Colonel Vaughn went to my room, wasn't there, he gave me a 2020. Well, he came back and he saw heard my twin brother tell the guard member that Colonel Vaughn's going to follow that cadet. Heard my brother tell him to leave him alone. Leave him alone, let him get to bed, or else he'd have to take up the matter with him, and Vaughn didn't like that, so he stuck us. He stuck me at 2020, and my brother 50-50 for indiscretion for the way he talked to that guard member. And that was a bad deal, except that's one time they didn't let us answer the report. And if you have a Jennings TE and a Jennings TZ, the only thing that could happen is they get the initials backwards, and I walked 50-50 for my brother. He was 20-20. I had a couple months of confinement to the barracks, but that's the way it was. And I turn around and say, as you go through life at Princeton, and as your children that you dropped off here become young adults, they're going to learn things, and they're going to meet a group of people that they will know throughout their life that have duty, honor, and achievement drilled into their brain and their heart. Where you know, if they tell you, if a cadet tells you something, you'll know you can bank on it. And that's happened to me countless times in my political career, 38 years, I'm starting on another crazy bunch as mayor of Rockville, but I've had 38 years in public service. I got to meet some really wonderful people in that time because of this school. You know, there was some of the things happening. Some of your children were lucky enough to receive a Knowles scholarship. That was designed by Cadet Wiles and myself because we didn't have enough New Mexico students here. It was named after General Knowles, Richard T. Knowles, because he was a leader that happened to move back to Roswell. He was a three-star general. He started as a private and ended up a three-star general, which is something that didn't happen to him. He also served in the legislature, and he was a great man. He was in vice commander when they set up the 101st Airborne. And, you know, I knew General Knowles for a long time, but there was a book once that was written by a man called Colonel Hal Moore. And it was about soldiers we were young once. And Colonel Moore's regiment was, or battalion, he didn't have a regiment yet, battalion, he was dropped in the middle of a Vietnamese regiment in the Igraine Valley, and he had to fight his way out. Well, the difference was the regiment had about 1,500 people, and a battalion had about 1,500 people, and the regiment had about 15,000. Vietnamese regiment. He had to fight his way out. And if you've ever seen the movie Soldiers We Were Young Ones, you know that that man and those soldiers stood fight. And what they did was unbelievable. And Colonel Moore was here one time at Lyceum that they had for cadets. And I told him that Richard Knowles, General Knowles, had given me the book, Soldiers We Were Young Ones. And he said, "Timmy, read this." And I couldn't believe what I read when I read the book. And I got in line and I had Colonel Moore, I wanted to get Colonel Hal Moore to sign my book. And when I told him that I had a book already that General Richard T. Knowles gave me, he said, "You know, that man is the greatest leader I've ever met. I would follow him through anything he ever told me." He said, General Knowles was a high-ranking general shot down in Vietnam, but they didn't know where he was. And they finally had to find him, and he said, "That man has been in every tunnel." He was 6'4". He said he would go in any tunnel before he would send any other troops. He said he was an incredible officer. And I looked at that and I just said, you know, the experiences that I have in my life because of the New Mexico Military Institute are incredible. And it never stops giving. You know, I'm not the first in my family. My uncles went here, and one of them graduated from here 88 years ago. So the Institute has that kind of legacy that goes on and on and on. And you should always know it. And if there's one thing when you drop your child off, I have to tell you, when they come back, they will be truly independent people. And I do some things. There are some things that you do when you win the Institute. One is right here. I got my shoes on. You can all see my shoes. You can all see my khaki pants. I wear khaki pants because they're better than jeans. And when you saw my shoes, you can see a tie. I learned how to tie a tie here. But now I don't have to wear it anymore. I don't shine my shoes. I buy shoes you don't have to shine. And I have a tie that I don't have to tie. It slides up. But the experiences I've met from people who went to this school will live with me forever. Because it's a group of people that you know that they have duty and honor and achievement drilled into them to the point that you can't beat that. Now, there's one thing that I think that I would like each of you to impart on each one of your children you drop off, and encourage them, all the new cadets, to find two buddies, two other cadets. And I encourage you to please tell them to find two friends. And the two of them, while you're not going to be here to be available necessarily to talk to them all the time or to give them advice, tell them to find two other cadets in the same class to use as buddies. If they want to do something that they think it's good or bad or anything else, or there's any questions, to talk to their friends about what would happen if they do it. Because that it brings, number one, it gives your young cadet, it gives him two other people to talk to and bounce any idea off of them that he needs to about helping each other. Each one of those cadets needs to be a friend and have a friend to count on, because they're going to need that friend in their time here. And it's whether or not to take a math class, whether or not what math class to take, it never hurts if they have a friend to bounce something off and somebody to look out for them. And I just say that because anytime you get, young people together, there's always some little crazy thing that happens. And it's not ever really on purpose, it's just one of those things that happen. And looking here, there's we went to prom one time, there's a hall here called V&V Hall. And it was named after three cadets who were fixing things up for Final Ball. And then they had an accident with some dry ice. The thing I want you to do is to impress on your children to find two friends so they can be friends together. And they can all have two different friends, it doesn't matter. Just pick two other people to be friends to give them guidance that they can run things by when they do anything together. It's just a buddy system. And that also helps them if they have a buddy system to lose that tie with home and make that. And I would just ask you to do that, because I think that was very important to me when I was here, to realize that I wasn't alone. I did have other friends here. I did have other cadets. And you can go ahead and make it. I run across people from the New Mexico Military Institute all the time. And you can be in the darndest places and you'll run across somebody, and my brother, my twins the same way. I mean, it's been fantastic. My brother John does that. It's just a wonderful, wonderful place that they're going to graduate from. And I'm going to tell you, the cadets that you meet here, and the cadets that leave here, are going to be in some of the most important places in this world to come. Your school is only second to West Point in the number of military officers that they matriculate into the United States Army. And they have an awful lot of cadets in the Air Force from the graduation and the military academies, because a lot of them start here to train to move forward. So, I really hope that you understand and will give those kids the road. When you turn your child loose here in the morning, when you pick them up in 4 years or 2 years, whenever they graduate, when you pick them up, you're going to pick up an adult. And you're going to be proud of it, and they're going to be fit to make decisions on their own, like you can't. It doesn't mean they're not going to ask you questions about it, but they're going to make educated decisions that will help them the rest of their life. And I thank you. I thank you for the opportunity. I'm sorry I've only talked way too long, but we are glad to have you in Roswell. And if you want to, while you're here, please go to the UFO Museum and buy some souvenirs. But please don't forget our other museums and the other cultural opportunities we have in Roswell. We have some really wonderful museums. Even, Robert Goddard is here, and he was the one who developed liquid fuel rockets right here in Roswell. And, that's, we're just learning where rockets can go in space, so it's all right here. You can see his whole workshop right down there at the museum in Roswell. So thank you all very much, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you, and good luck to all you new cadets. And I can't forget my number, you'll probably never forget yours either. Thank you.
And now we've got some representatives from the Parents Club, and I'll talk more about the Parents Club in just a minute, but I want to have them come up and talk to you, introduce themselves, and invite you to join the Parents Club. You'll have an opportunity to do that later. Ladies?
It's streamed live. You can ask questions. We have lots of parents who are pros at this and can answer just about any question you have. They've had multiple cadets come through. So regardless of whether you're in Roswell or you're out of town, you're absolutely more than welcome to join us, and we would love to have you. We also do an ice cream social and some other things that are streamed live on Facebook, so you have the opportunity to see.
And you have the opportunity to join, if you're here local, to join the Parents Club by coming to the meeting. There's information you can get, packets to fill out, so you can be part of the Parents Club, so you can come in the evening to help with the events that we have in the evening. The kids love them. They love them. Ice cream, cupcakes.
We also do a swap shop where cadets can swap out their uniforms as they grow through them, and Parents Club is very involved with that as well.
Because no kid comes in as a freshman or sophomore and leaves the same size. So, instead of having to buy new uniforms, you can bring in your old uniforms and get a different uniform. There's the reception at Bates Hall, and the Institute would like to have you join me if you have a chance when we're done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now let me introduce the senior staff here at NMI, the folks that are responsible for all the things we're going to talk about here. Let's start with the academic side. First is our academic dean, the guy that's responsible for the curriculum and the things that go on in the classroom. Dr. Orlando Riego. Dr. Riego is in his second year with us. He came after 2 other terms as a dean. He has great experience. You can see his resume, doctorate degree in philosophy, 28 years of educational experience, 8 years in the Air Force. He was an ROTC instructor. He was a Desert Shield veteran. He has a tremendous background to be at a military school and doing what he's doing. His vice dean, he's also the high school principal. He's got a foot in both of our divisions. You see that first bullet. He's also an alumnus of the school. He came here on an athletic scholarship, played football. He left here a scholar athlete and continued his education and finished at Panhandle State in Oklahoma. He came back to New Mexico. He spent 21 years in education. He's been a coach, a principal, an athletic director. He came back to us as our vice dean and high school principal. Here locally, we have an organization called Character Counts. He's been selected as a Character Counts Award winner. So he carries those principles he learned here at NMMI with him when he left, and now he brings them back to the classroom with us. The Commandant of Cadets, Colonel Tom Tate, and I apologize, I didn't introduce Jose Porras. Jose, please. Colonel Tom Tate, Commandant of Cadets. The Commandant's responsible for all the things that goes on outside the classroom except for athletics. I'll introduce that person in just a minute. Commandant of Cadets, outside the classroom, he's responsible for what goes on in the core of cadets, that leadership and character building that we've talked about a little bit. We'll talk more about that. Colonel Tate came to us from another military junior college. There are 4 military junior colleges in the military college school system, and he came with 7 years as a commandant when he came to us. He also has 2 years as the president and superintendent of a prep school, 8 through 12, so he has a tremendous background in military school education. He's now in his 2nd year with us, so we're very fortunate to have Colonel Tate. Then that other guy that does things outside the classroom, our athletic director, Colonel Jose Barone. Jose has a unique background, as you can see, in athletics. He did not come up in that world as a coach. He came up as an athletic trainer. He has a bachelor's and master's in sports medicine. You can see that. He's a nationally board certified trainer. A unique thing about him, he's already been recognized in the state of New Mexico in our high school division as the athletic director of the year by the New Mexico Athletic Association. He just recently was recognized, as you can see that last bullet, by the NJCAA as the athletic director of the year by the National Junior College Athletic Association. You can also see that other bullet. He's been in the professional sports world. He was a player development trainer for the Houston Astros. So we're extremely fortunate to have Jose in that regard. And then finally, someone that we all appreciate because she signs our checks, she pays the bills, she makes sure the lights are on in this building, our Chief Financial Officer, Dina Turnette. You can see again, she came out of the public accounting world, came to work for us about 15 or 16 years ago as a teacher in the business department, moved into accounting again as the Deputy Chief Financial Officer, and recently moved into the Chief Financial Officer role. But I can tell you she's most proud of that 3rd bullet there. She's the mother of 3 cadets that have attended New Mexico Military Institute. And the last person who's not here, he had a little stomach bug catch him yesterday, and he's not here this evening, but that's our Chief of Staff. David West, 15-year veteran of the New Mexico Military Institute. He is an engineer by trade. He keeps us straight with his analytical mind and drives us crazy with all the things that he does. But he's a great Chief of Staff. When I interviewed him to be my Chief of Staff, he said, "What's the job description for a Chief of Staff? What do you expect me to do?" I said, "I expect you to find the problem before it exists and fix it." And he does a great job at that, at keeping us all straight. So we've got a great senior staff here that does the things that need to be done, works tremendously together, and works on the best behalf of the Corps of Cadets. These are the people I want you to get to know. Before you leave here and go back to your home cities, states, and countries, I want you to have our addresses, email addresses, phone numbers. I want you to feel free to call us because I don't want you second guessing anything. I don't like rumors. I hate them. You feel free to contact us directly if you have a question. Before you leave tomorrow, parents, I'll talk about it here in a minute, those 3 primary guys that run those 3 pillars of this school are going to have a workshop for you. And they're going to tell you how to contact each of us if you need us. And that's what we want you to do. Don't believe rumors. Don't believe social media. You call us for information. Now, I'm going to talk about what we're here this evening, why you're here yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So, the cadets that are in the audience, I always have fun asking this. How many of you at home make your own bed? Well, there's a few hands. Thank you for raising your hands. How many of you know how to fold what's called a hospital corner on your bed? There's a few, thank you. Well, we're going to teach you how to do that. How many clean your own room at home? Clean it? All right, some more hands. Thank you. Well, if you don't know, we're going to teach you how to do those things too. How many of you get yourself ready every day? Lay out your clothes, get ready, do your own homework on your own without mom and dad doing all those things for you. There's always a few, thank you, I'm glad of that. Well, we're going to teach you how to do that here. We're going to teach you by doing two things. One is mentioned on the bottom of the slide, time management. That's one of the most important things we'll teach you at NMMI, how to organize your time to get all of those things done. But with that time management comes another thing called organization. We're going to teach you how to be organized. Through that organization, you'll learn time management. Those two things will go with you the rest of your life. It will help you for the rest of your life, regardless of what vocation you go into. So, I'm going to welcome you. We've done that already. We thank you for choosing NMMI. We know you had choices, and we thank you for choosing NMMI. We're going to give you some things to think about here this evening, and we're going to assure you, particularly mothers in the audience, I'm in my 14th year, as the Commandant told you when he gave my introduction. And I've learned that, Mom, we have to still convince you, even tonight, that we're going to take care of your son or daughter. We even have some grandparents in the audience. We're still going to convince you that we will take care of your grandson or your granddaughter. You're going to learn, and we really truly believe this, just as you heard the mayor, you're joining a family. NMMI is a family. You're joining a family that you'll have here, but more importantly, it'll be your family the rest of your life. There's things that you'll learn while you're here, but you'll take them with you, and you'll reach back and you'll reach out to that family for the rest of your life. Throughout today, tomorrow, you're going to learn how we do all those things when you go to those workshops. We're going to teach you and tell you how we do our business here. We want you to understand that. And we're going to teach you and tell you again how we care for your cadet along the way. Peace of mind is important. I'm going to talk real quickly about some things that I want you to understand, and that helps you with that peace of mind. We have a safe, secure learning environment, as safe and secure as we possibly can make it. The first thing on that bullet I want to talk about, because we're very proud about this and we believe in it very much. We have a real police force here. They're not security guards. They are real police force. They are civilian law enforcement trained. The acronym is CLEAT. They are all and have been real police officers on city, state, county police forces. They are authorized to carry a weapon. They do carry a weapon. We have a reciprocal agreement with the city of Roswell. Our police officers have the same arrest authority as a Roswell police officer. We have 6 full-time, 6 part-time police officers. So we're very proud of that. They're here 24/7 protecting us and our cadets. I live on the campus, so I'm very proud of the fact I feel safe living on this campus. Cameras. We have over 100 security cameras on the campus. Now, cadets, we can't look in your room. We don't want to look in your room. But we have 100 cameras to protect you. We can see in all of the parking areas. We can see in between the buildings. A lot of our cameras move. Some of them are stationary. We can also program them to look in the dark areas of the campus at certain hours of the night. If something moves, it'll move to that area and take pictures for us. Very safe and secure area. We have a 24-hour infirmary. Our infirmary is actually a licensed 30-bed hospital. It's open 24/7 when cadets are on campus. It's manned by 6 full-time registered nurses. We're also contracted with a physician and a physician's assistant. They come, they hold office hours just like going to a doctor's office. And you can go anytime, 24/7. If a cadet feels sick, they get up and go to the infirmary. There is a licensed professional there to take care of them. Tomorrow, if you are a minor, or actually anyone that is on medication, you will take your medication there, turn it in, and those professionals will administer your medicine for you. You can go there if you're sick, and they'll take care of you. We have 2 hospitals. One of them is literally across the street over here this way, and one is 6 blocks to the north. 2 hospitals within less than a mile of us. If our professionals can't take care of the problem, we'll immediately transport you. You have great health care here very close by. 24-hour adult coverage. In the commandant's office, he has people that are here physically 24/7. When the regular crew goes to at home, he has the night crew. We call the levels of our dorm stoops instead of floors, and they will walk the floors, the stoops, all night long. Bed checks are made. We have people here 24/7 for the safety and security of your sons and daughters. Now, here's something that I got, I had a parent yell at me one time because we didn't reform their son. Actually told me, I thought that's what you were going to do when I brought my son here. You were going to do what I couldn't do. You were going to reform my son. That's not what we do. We do have a very structured environment here. It's not a reform school. That's not what we do. We will use the military platform and a structured environment to invoke a very good education. But please don't think we are a reform school. We don't have a relationship with the police or the courts, and we don't take students who are juvenile delinquents. That's not who we are, not what we do, never have. So please don't think that. Here's another one. I had a parent write me a letter. This was an alum parent bringing their son here. And it was a great letter till it got to a point. And the parent was telling the son, when you get there, they have such great systems at NMMI, they're going to be able to shut your cell phone off. You can't communicate with gambling, pornography. You can't do all those things when you're on the NMMI campus because they can shut it off through their system. I said, whoa, wait a minute, time out. Yes and no. I can do that. Our systems are so powerful, and I do have tools and through the NMMI IT department that I can do that. But you know what? It really doesn't matter. Because right over on that corner is a Starbucks. And their signal is so powerful, they can walk right over there and sit down and get that signal, and they can plug into anything they want to. Right on this corner, across the street is a Dairy Queen. And across the street is a Walgreens. And their signal is so powerful that they can get it without leaving this campus. But you'd also know, and maybe some of your sons or daughters have them, they can create their own hotspot in their room. I can't stop that. So I'm asking you to help me. If you see them doing that, you've got to help me turn it off. You pay the bill. You see that they're doing that. So please help me when you see that. I can absolutely shut them down on my campus, but I can't stop them when they go to where they can access stuff off campus or when they create their own hotspot. Another thing that I'll ask you in another slide you'll see in just a minute, we ask that you not call in after 10 o'clock at night, and you don't accept them calling you after 10 o'clock at night. That's when they're supposed to be starting to go to bed. We try to allow them to get 8 hours of sleep, but if they're on the phone, they can't do that. And again, you see the bill, so we need your help in this regard. We also need your help financially. If your son or daughter, grandson, granddaughter, do something that causes them to ask us, or us ask them to leave, there's still financial obligations that have to be met. I hate to talk about the negative things, but we need to work together on those things. Peace of mind is important. We want you to know, and this is where we want to talk about the parent club just a little bit. We're different because we're a mandatory boarding school, so things are a little bit different here. We don't have a parent-teacher organization like you're used to, but we have the parent club. And it's very important that you plug into that network. They talked about the things they do. They have monthly live meetings on the internet that you can plug into. They invite us. We go there and we make ourselves available to you to ask questions. So plug into that network. They do things. Like I said, we don't have homerooms. They don't do cupcake things and stuff, but yet they do. They will sponsor ice cream socials. You'll learn these terms, the box and the slab. That's the two main buildings where the cadets live. They'll sponsor ice cream socials. They will do cupcake nights. They will figure out ways for you to send a cake to your son or daughter on their birthday. So plug into the parents club. And as you said, they're going to host reception tonight over in the mess hall so you can meet members of the Parents Club and plug in. It is a great organization that I encourage you to get to be a part of. So please, please do that. How else can you be involved? Write letters, old-fashioned handwritten letters, cards. Please do that. And of course, emails. I'm not going to tell you not to use social media and communicate with your sons and daughters. But plain old-fashioned mail is very important. They really appreciate that and do it. Please don't call after 10. I said that before. The first 21 days, I'll talk more about it in just a minute. But that's an important time. We used to try to call it was sequestered, and we didn't want you to even call or talk to them or bother them. But we're not silly. We know that's not going to happen. But we ask you to restrict this next 21 days, and here's why. They're going to be inundated with information and learning in two capacities. From now until the 11th or 12th is the military piece they're going to learn. They're getting their military uniforms. They're going to be assigned to a squad. They're going to learn rank. They're going to learn how to march. All of that stuff is just going to be crammed on them for the next 7 or 8 days. They won't really have their cell phones because you've seen what the PT uniform looks like if you saw them today. They don't have pockets and things to carry cell phones and tablets and notebooks around. They can talk to you in the evenings after the regular school day, but let them have time to learn the things they need to learn. And then classes are going to start on the 11th. And so now they've got to learn that military piece and plug it into the classroom piece. They got to get up, they got to get dressed, they got to get their books, they got to go to formation, they got to go eat. Now they got to go to class. So we need you to allow them this next 21 to 28 days to put all that together in their mind. And then I'm going to talk about September 3rd. Plug that date down just a minute, we'll talk about it. So here's some things I've learned over 14 years. Please let your child stand on your own 2 feet. You've probably heard these terms. You heard about lawnmower parents. You heard about helicopter parents. Now we got drone parents that just hover right over the top of them. Please, that's part of being here, is learning how to stand on their own 2 feet. Do I have any alum parents in the audience bringing your sons or daughter here tonight? Sometimes I ask you, challenge you to think back. When you were here just one generation ago, you didn't have cell phones. You didn't have laptops. You didn't have the internet. These are things that your sons and daughters now accept on a regular basis. Sometimes I actually have grandparents bringing their sons, their grandsons and granddaughters. 2 generations ago, you had to stand in front of Sallyport in line at a payphone. The world of the cadets today is entirely different. So let them live today's world. I ask you, please. Don't invoke on them what you did here. Share your memories with them. I would never ask you not to do that. But their world will be entirely different than your world. So let them live their world. Encourage them to have and make their memories while they're here. But they're still kids. So they're going to call you. And they're going to have this crisis. And it's just this incredible crisis that's got to be resolved right now. And so I ask you to just listen. Be polite. Don't swoop in. Don't fly that drone right over their head. And wait for 24 hours. Be cordial. Be nice to your child. But wait 24 hours. And then talk to them the next day. And I'd almost bet you that they don't even bring it up. Today's crisis won't even be a speck on their memory tomorrow. So please, let that happen. Listen, but just let it go for 24 hours. And then the bottom one I found is kind of funny, but it's back to that one. Give it 24 hours and it'll resolve itself. And I'll believe half what they tell me if you believe half what they tell you. Because it's usually exaggerated. It's that moment of they saw something happen and they got to tell somebody, but by tomorrow, it's run its course. But there's nobody says anything better, I've found again, than an actual mother telling her story of sitting in your chair when she was bringing her daughter. So I ask a mother to tell her story, and I want you to hear it for just a minute, please.
The first 21 days at NMI, you have no contact. It's really just through mail. There's no email, there's no phone, and that was truly the most difficult. I found myself across the street hoping to catch a glimpse of her, and I realized that that was probably not the best thing to be doing. So it really just, and communication during that time period is crucial. Whether your cadet lives, in another country, make the effort to write letters, maybe start in advance. I sent one every day while she was here, and that was one of the most important things later that she said to me, that just having that communication, we sent out her emails, and we had friends and family from all over the country send her letters of support. And in those moments where they just feel like, what am I doing here? They open up one of those letters and get all the encouragement and support that they need from friends and family. I was, of course, nervous, and I expected to, even though I live pretty much about 1.5 miles down the street, I thought that it would be a lot easier, and at times I felt it was more difficult. I think it doesn't matter whether you're 1 mile away or 1,000 miles away. These are our children, and we're having to let them go. Some of them as young as 13, 14 years old, and mine is a female, a daughter. I had never expected to have to do that, and I was certainly scared and very much concerned, but I knew that she was in capable hands and will be very well taken care of here at the Institute. And then we waited the 21 days, and if you have an opportunity, I know not everyone does, but the Parents Club was fantastic. We were great about posting pictures. The 21-day celebration is probably one of the most important celebrations your cadet will go through, because you truly see the bonding and the camaraderie that's been established with their fellow cadets, with the fellow rats, and those friendships are long-lasting. My daughter came in as a high school freshman, and she has had cadets that have since graduated who were college freshmen. So there's a big age difference there, and plenty of those have already gone on. Some have even graduated from college, and to this day, she is still that little sister, and just seeing those friendships form is incredible. She did 3 years of the junior leadership camp at here, and by her second summer, she knew she wanted to come to school here, and had been fortunate enough to meet some wonderful people who mentored her for an entire year. And I know not everyone has that opportunity, but it's about formulating those friendships. If you have an opportunity, I suggest that the parents as well already join the Facebook page and get to know other parents, and the cadets get to know other cadets, so that they start communicating with each other. And some of those fears and misconceptions that they've had, they'll know that they have each other. Freshman year was probably the most difficult, just because there was a lot of adjusting. But I have this image in my head of this little girl who just looked terrified when I saw her do that final march by. And the following year, I have a picture, and I put them side by side, and it's her sophomore year. And the confidence, the way she looked, and I could see the transition, how much she had changed in just 1 year at NIMI. I don't think anything, looking back on it, there is certainly no regret. I know that she is prepared. She's getting ready to go off to college, and I am fully confident in her abilities and everything that NMMI taught her, and I know that she will succeed.
So, I hope what you heard, you agree with that first bullet. Mom, parents, you made the right decision. We're going to take care of your cadet. That's what we do. We've been doing it for 131 years. We're going to make sure your cadet has a one-on-one academic advisor. Whether it's high school or junior college, they'll have someone that will guide them through their academic program while they're here. They're going to have a one-on-one leadership and character advisor to help them develop that whole person approach that we talk about. The same with physical fitness. We have nationally board certified trainers. In our mess hall, we have dietitians and nutritionists that will help them with their eating. If they want to lose weight, gain weight, however they need to do physically, we can help them. There's those two things I talked about earlier, time management, organizational skills. We're going to help them do that. Those are things they'll take with them the rest of their life. And all of that will come together to give them a level of self-confidence that they may or may not have today, but they will the longer they stay with us at NMMI. So, I've said it before, I've said it several times, we're a military school. We use the military platform to provide a great education. We're in a uniform because it's a military school. All of the faculty, all of the senior staff wear a uniform. These are the things that sometimes the students initially don't understand. So if your cadet tells you somebody yelled at them, that's just part of the military environment. They don't do it in a punitive way, they do it in a corrective way. Student goes outside, initially, when they just get here, they don't realize the hat is part of the uniform. You don't go outside uncovered, we call it in the military. So what happens? You see one without a hat. You yell at them, come here. Do you know why I called you over here? Yes, sir, I'm outside without my hat. That's correct. Now get down and give me 10 push-ups. Now get up. Now you know what happened. Yes, sir, I did those push-ups because I was outside without a hat. Push-ups are a corrective form of punishment. Now, carry on. That's the way we do it. We don't do it in a punitive way. We don't put our foot in the middle of somebody's back and make them do push-ups like that. We do those things to help enforce the issue. So if you hear that, that's probably what happened, because we're a military school. Tomorrow, I said it earlier, 3 o'clock, here in this building, the dean, the commandant, and the athletic director are going to spend time with you, just the parents, going over how they do what they do. And more importantly, they're going to give you all of that individual information. How to get a hold of a TLA, a troop leadership advisor, how to get a hold of a counselor, how to get a hold of a coach, what their phone numbers are, what their email addresses are. All of that information will be provided tomorrow. It's so important, parents, that you do that. There's a time tomorrow that you will need to be separated from your cadets. They have things to do. They're going to go to their room. They're going to get all of the things organized that they have to do. And you need to be here to go over all of these things you see on that screen. So please, please, be here. 3 o'clock, 1500. When that is over, you'll go out into what we call Bronco Plaza, in front of Hagerman Barracks, in front of that great big archway called the Sally Port. You heard the mom talk about that final march by. That'll happen at 15:30 tomorrow. That's when the first time you'll see all of the cadets that are here. It's not the total Corps cadets, because the old cadets don't show up until the end of the week. But all those that are here will form up as the Corps cadets, and you'll watch them march through on their way to supper. And then that's the time, parents, families, that you have to get in the car and leave. Until, as the mom said, about 3 weeks, 21, 28 days later, we really want you to come back. And here's the first phase of their RAT training, and that's not a derogatory term, it stands for Recruits at Training. This is what they're going to learn. 3 September, it's a holiday weekend, and we did it on purpose because it's a 3-day weekend. We want you to come back. Saturday morning, they're going to show you what they've learned, and you'll be amazed. It'll last till about noon. They'll go through a ceremony, and then from Saturday noon until Monday, they'll be able to be with you. So we hope as many as possible can come back for that. The second phase is about another 4 weeks. It'll go until October 8th. Please, if you can, come back. We'll have a ceremony for them. They'll go through the second phase of their RAT training. The third phase will last until the end of the semester. And we've put out an update. I hope everyone received it. We're going to end the semester on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Wednesday before Thanksgiving will be the end of the semester. A long break from there until about the 8th of January, I think it is, Dean, somewhere in there. And then they'll come back, and shortly after we resume the semester in January, they'll finish their RAT training. Those are important dates. They've been published, and any of those you're welcome to come back for the ceremony that evolves around their phases of their rat training. Parents, thank you for your time this evening. Thanks for coming here. I want you to look around. This is part of that new NMMI family we talked about. I hope that they'll stay together. I hope you'll look at the end of this semester. I hope in May, when we have that final year-end parade, you're all here shaking each other's hand. Cadets in the audience, the term is your rat buddy. You will know your rat buddy for the rest of your life. You'll talk about your rat buddy for the rest of your life. You will make lifelong friends that I hear about all of the time. We live in a global society. You don't know where your life will take you, but your rat buddy will always be there to reach out to. So look at them, remember them. They'll be there for the rest of your life. So we're committed to your success. I've got one little final video, and then after that, the current leadership of the Corps has a little play they want to show you that I think you'll find funny and amusing, and it's a way of introducing the uniforms that the Corps of Cadets wear. But first, a little short video to show you, I think, what will happen and the success that comes from being a cadet. I love that video. I think it shows what happens at NMMI. It's the development that occurs. It's the support network that exists at NMMI. Thank you very much for being here this evening. I look forward to a great year with you. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Cadet Major Alexander Warnock, and welcome to the semi-official and hopefully approved 2022 NMMI Runway.